What's going on, everyone? Matt Zephyr here for Mystic Animals. I feel like it's been a while since we didn't have a heart-to-heart, little bit of an update video, and I have a little guy to show you today.
Cue the intro!
His name is Oz, and he's a rescue. He has a little bit of problem with his eyes, and that actually has something to do with what we have to talk about today. Why loose substrate is actually worse than you think. So as you can see, his little eyes are closed right now, and we've been treating him with antibiotic drops right here, and we're gonna do it right now on camera, just to be inside the eye, but he knows he's been good with it. And there you go, just one, and the other one. And you didn't like that one, okay. So Oz right here is a jeweled Lacerda, and he's absolutely beautiful. Look at the hues of blues and the greens right there. Absolutely gorgeous lizard. And he is pretty handleable for a Lacerda. And these guys are pretty much mini tree tegus. So they're arboreal, they love climbing, they have a really good appetite. This guy responds really well to food. As you can see, they do love to explore. This guy settles down pretty well. He likes running around on my arms and like perching. He's really not that bad of a flight risk, I'll be honest with you. Now, I'm pretty sure he has this eye problem because his terrarium was filled with about 6 inches of very, very dry substrate. And it wasn't like the big cocoa fiber that's pretty good. It's like the other one that's like very, very dusty. And I put it right there on the screen, right? When you forget to water it, it very quickly becomes a very fine powder, and it can get in the nostrils and the eyes of the animal. And very quickly it can cause problems to your animals like irritation, inflammation, infection, or even permanent blindness in some cases. Now this guy we're pretty sure we caught early enough to save him from that because his eyes do still open and he sees through them. So we're gonna hope that without any substrate for the time being, and then replacing his substrate with some bigger chunks, it's gonna remedy the situation. But like right now, as you can see, his eyes are open. It's because when he's like not on the ground, he opens them because he knows he'll fall otherwise. So like he makes an effort, but otherwise he keeps them closed. That's it for Oz, and we're gonna keep going with a few more updates. So a lot of people have been asking me in private how Kyle is doing, and that's something that we really wanted to wait until there was noticeable progress to be able to show you guys. But now it's pretty much the time where we're gonna be able to just show you outright some footage of him just improving. When we feed him, he responds to the ball, he will allow me to pet him, he allows me to pick him up when he's in his water and transfer him out of his water because I have to do some changes. He's very quickly becoming a solid member of this family, and honestly, I would trust him with my life. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna grab this camera right here, turn it back into a vlog style, and we're just gonna pet him, interact with him a little bit. Let me just take the camera in a different way. That's much better, because that way you can see, and I have access to my hand. So we are going to just open an enclosure, and as you can see, he's curious now. He doesn't get very scared. He's just curious, has lots of tongue flicking. Very, very good animal. Now, obviously, Nile monitors aren't known for being the best monitors on the planet, but this guy, as you can see, he's been really quickly improving. He lets me pet him all over his back. He's very, very quickly becoming an animal that I'm not afraid of. I don't really take any extra precautions when I handle him anymore. I just kind of let him know I'm coming. I approach slowly, and he doesn't really freak out. He comes to check out my hand sometimes, but I close it in a fist and then he turns away because he knows what the fist is. I've shown him the fist enough, and they're very, very smart. They associate things. They're like, what's that? Why is it moving? And then I show him it's the fist, and then he's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Here, I'll pick him up and put him in his water because it seems like that's something he would like to do right now. Let's do that. Let's do that. All right, shall we, buddy? Let's do that. Oh, no, you don't want to? Okay, that's good. Yes, hello. Yes, hello. Yes, hello. Here, let's show you the fist. The fist. The fist. The fist turns into pet. Fist turns into pet, and that's okay. Fist turns into pet, and that's fine. When you lick the fist, as you can see, nothing's happening. Yeah, so as you can see, that's pretty much as tamed down as he could possibly be within the time frame that we've had him. For a wild-caught Nile monitor, he can trust me, and he knows who I am, and he knows I bring the food, and he knows I change the water, and he knows I just bring the pets. And he's super curious, as you can see, tongue still flicking, not in any sort of standoff mode. He lets himself be petted on the tail. I've been petting him this whole time, letting him know that everything's okay. And when he comes to check out my hand, I just ball up my fist, and he understands that it's not food, it's my fist. Yeah. Very cool animal. For sure, definitely becoming one of my favorites. And yeah, that's Kyle, everybody. Now, I know since a lot of people are going to trash me for this down in the comments or on Twitter or wherever and use some clips of this to demonize my content or me or my channel, basically, I am not responsible for him being imported into the country or him being wild caught. So this guy is a juvenile, less than a year old still for sure. And when we went to pick him up, we had no idea that he was wild caught or anything. It's only when we had him in the bin ready to leave that the guy was like, oh yeah, the reason why he's feisty like that is because he was wild caught, imported in the country 8 months ago. And we were like, oh, well, that's fantastic. So yeah, he can't be older than like a year, because when he arrived in the country, the guy said he was about this big, and that's how big baby Nile monitors get. Out of the egg, they're like this big, and then like in a ball, right? That's the head, and then tail. I'll show a picture. But he was about this long, which is about like 2-3 months of age. And yeah, 8 months later, and we pick him up, and then 3 months later, and yeah, he's probably around a year old, a little under that if I was to take a guess. Yeah, he's been doing fantastic. In only 3 months, he's now letting me fully interact with the area around him, and even interact with him provided he's in the mood. Because to be honest, whenever I go to pet him and I just play with the lock a little bit, he comes to check me out, and he's like tongue flicking and everything, so he's curious and he wants to know what's going on, but definitely not the same as like a Savannah monitor or another small monitor like an Aki or like whatever, because it's an animal that basically, I'm pretty sure they know they're gonna get big, and he has this sense of not being afraid of you that not very many animals replicate. Alright, that's enough of Kyle, let's move on. So the next animal update we have today is Minnie, our miniature red iguana. So she's not miniature because of locality or because of species. She's a regular green iguana that normally get this big. And we know that she was kept in an enclosure that was way too small for her whole life, and that's the reason that she's stunted. And she will never grow much bigger than this because she's 4 years old, and that's full grown for iguanas, so she's just gonna stay this big. Normally they're majestic and beautifully big and like overall heavy-bodied lizards, right? But she's just gonna stay this big her whole life, which is very sad. I'm not gonna lie to you, but she's actually super handleable, and it's gonna be very, very hard to get an iguana that's more nice than this. Like for example, she allows me to pet her on the head and she really likes it, and I'll show you a really cool trick right now. Alright, so as you can see, we taught her to rest her legs on her tail like this for more stability, and so that she doesn't eviscerate the wrist of whoever's trying to hold her. And then afterwards we give her some nice pets on the head like this, and then you'll be able to see she closes her eyes, relaxes a lot, and then we can do something that's really cool with her. We can actually baby her, just like this. And she'll let you hold her like this. You can pet her while she's like this, and she likes it. Yes, and she lets you do that. She hasn't been letting me do that for that long a time, just about a week or two, but she's been getting really good with it. As you can see, no fussing, no nothing. Like, of course they have really big claws like this, but she's actually really good when it comes to temperament, so it's very easy to handle her, and she just loves those pets, yes. And as you can see, look, whenever she closes her eyes, you could just baby her. She likes it. She'll let you do it, no problem, and then she'll close her eyes in a baby mode, which is super cool. Well, yes, you want to go back home? Sounds good. Alright, sounds good. So we're actually in the process of building a crazy enclosure for Minnie. It's going to happen in the next few weeks, and you're going to see it's going to be absolutely beautiful. It's taller than I am. We've got all the parts. We're just ready to film it. Alright, that's it for this video. Peace. Thank you so much for checking out this video, everybody. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button, and if you really loved it, why don't you subscribe? It's free, you know?